Well, Rick, Mike is muted, but we're live.
Let's go. Let's go.
Marcel, we are live here on PWZ Podcast. Not to mention, we are having technical difficulties. As always, here, it's that Hamden internet service is what it is. So it's funny because I made fun of Tommy because he dropped out last night. But tonight, we're getting to a rough start. So thank you, anybody that's tuning in. This is a PWZ podcast. I'm Rick Del Santo, the professor, if you will, joining me as always on this wonderful Tuesday evening, provided we have no more technical difficulties. Showtime, Marcel Williams. What's going on?
What's going on? We repeat it again. We are July 26th, 2022. PWZ. We are back. We'll just do it again to review a lot of things, to talk about a lot of news. A lot of stuff has happened for the last few days, last weekend, and then we got more stuff coming up this weekend. We got SummerSlam coming up. We got Dynamite tomorrow night, and Rampage Friday, and SmackDown Friday, and Ric Flair's last match on Sunday. So it's a busy last 2 weeks for professional wrestling.
You know, before we get into discussing the topics of this episode, I just want to say, and hello, Adonis, and thank you for tuning in. It's great to have you here again. It is possibly one of the greatest eras. We are living in one of the greatest eras of professional wrestling right now. Because how many times a week do we have many must-see wrestling events? Just about every weekend, or there's big shows every weekend. This is an incredible time. Last weekend, we had a big weekend with Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor. We're going to be getting into that in a little bit. This weekend, there's SummerSlam and Ric Flair's last match, and not to mention countless local indie events are constantly happening around the area. I'm excited to be a wrestling fan at this time.
Yes, it's very big excitement for the sport of professional wrestling, sports entertainment, however you want to take it, and it's going to be a good future going forward with all the changes that are happening. It takes time, and I'm looking forward to it.
So AEW presented Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor this past weekend from Lowell, Mass. It's a total of 7 matches, and I thought that this was really an incredible event. We'll have to see at some point when Ring of Honor is going to start when Tony Khan is going to start differentiating Ring of Honor and AEW. Try to make them a different product, because it's basically everybody you see on TV every week on Mondays and Fridays going on to a random Ring of Honor show once every 4 months, it seems like. So, I'm looking forward to seeing something different, building a new Ring of Honor product. But I thought that this was a very, very, very good show. I don't think there was really any weak moments, and the weakest of moments, I'd have to say, were even top-notch moments. I thought it was a really good show.
Yeah, ROH Death Before Dishonor was a great event coming out of it. If anybody watched for the first time ever of ROH, anybody jumped and watched the debut of ROH themselves, they probably would have been satisfied, because it was a way different product than what AEW was putting out. Kind of same crisp production, the way they had with they do with Dynamite and Rampage, but it was a way better production than usually what RH put out there. But it was great wrestling from top to bottom, and can't wait. Look forward to it. No TV deal announcement was done yet, but we stay tuned after the performance that they had last weekend. Sure, we will see hopefully a TV deal pop up.
It's coming to that time. It's coming to a time where you have to figure something out. I think the fans are craving it. The fans want to see it. You know what I mean? They don't want to wait every 4 months to see a these top matches here, uh, or just see them as a feature match in All Elite Wrestling on Rampage or something, or what's the other show they got? Dark or Elevation.
Dark. Yeah, it seemed like when I was watching Countdown to the ROH show from last weekend, it seemed like they was doing a lot of stuff on Dark, which I don't really watch Dark like that.
Me
Used
neither.
to watch Dark when it first started, but I kind of like settled it down because it's too much wrestling going on, a lot. And Dark is mostly the talent that don't get pushed on TV with enhancement talent, which is a good thing for AEW
Yeah.
Dark. But Countdown to ROH definitely before Dishonor was real entertaining and made me push the buy button, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was very good. So you did watch this the pre-show? That's what you're saying.
I did watch the pre-show. Yes, I watched the
Very excited
Zero
because
Hour.
you never tune into the pre-shows. I'm excited because of course I did. I was very excited. It opened up with my man Colt Cabana defeating Anthony Henry. JD Drake was by his side. I thought this was a very fun match. It just shows that you know Anthony Henry. We don't see much of him these days. He's a very, very good wrestler, and Colt Cabana has not lost a step at all.
Nah, you haven't. Colt Cabana decided to make a appearance finally on some type of television. You know, he hasn't been seen since CM Punk made his return. I don't know if that's the problem or not, but he was back at ROH at home, and he grabbed the win against Anthony Henry.
He was almost gone. I guess his contract was up uh, recently, and I guess that from what I understand, that they were going to let him go, or Tony was not going to renew his. But I guess a lot of the talent went to bat for him and said that they need to re-sign him and keep him because they really like having him on as a producer.
Yeah, if you got the talent behind you, then it's hard to fight that. That's good morale. So that's good for Colt Cabana and more better things for ROH as well.
Absolutely. From there, we had the Trust Busters, Arya Davari and Slim J. Man, that's funny that Slim J made his appearance because I had not seen this guy in quite some time. I grew up watching him and his appearances in NWA Wildside and of course Ring of Honor, where he made his name most. It had been a very long time since I'd seen him. He took on the Shinobi Shadow Squad. Excuse me, fumbled my words there yet again. Of Cheeseburger and Eli Isom. Cheeseburger's killing it lately. I tell you, every time, with the rebrand of Cheeseburger, I guess you could say, as his character.
Yeah,
Guy's
he
good,
gained
man.
some weight too.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. This was a very, very fun match, I thought.
Yeah, it was a very entertaining match for a pre-show.
I did not have a problem with this pre-show. I really, really enjoyed the pre-show. So this is where some of the confusion comes in here. So the Embassy came out. Brian Cage, Khan, and Toa Leone with Prince Nana. They defeated
Mm-hmm.
Blake Christian, Tony Deppen, and Alex Zane. I have to say I was very excited to see Tony Deppen on a Ring of Honor / AEW television show. So the Embassy, Prince Nana came out here on Ring of Honor. Everybody's wondering what the hell happened to Tully Blanchard. They said in storyline that Prince Nana bought out the group from uh, Tully, and in fact that there has been rumors that he missed his flight or that he was no longer with AEW or Ring of Honor, whichever. And I guess that he has been spending a lot of time with his Christian ministries. He is a minister, a preacher. So he's been spending much more time with that. He may be focusing more on that than he is in his professional wrestling career.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it was just a situation where it was miscommunication and on both sides probably. Um, hey man, business move on. That's a good thing that he wants to keep on doing. I respect it. Now we got Prince Nana with the embassy.
I did do a little mark out for Prince Nana. I tell you, I will admit.
A lot of people did.
Then
Yeah.
I was excited to see him. It was exciting. I love Tully Blanchard. He's a guy I grew up with watching, and I know that he had a lot of personal issues back in the day, in the 80s, and that cost him his job at WWE back in 1980s, and cost him a job when he re-signed with WCW. So then I remember reading a story or listening to a story of him back in the day, probably in the early 90s. He had cassettes out of his preachings of his and he would talk about his career and how his career just went down the shitter, down the tubes, because he was partying like a rock star. He was into the drugs, he was into cocaine and women, and he lost. He was on top of the world in the wrestling world. One of the top guys for the National Wrestling Alliance, and of course, one of the top tag teams for his short stint in the WWF. And that, and that's what made him find God. He decided that he would, let the Lord take his way and lead his life.
Yeah, it's unfortunate how he didn't come back with Arn Anderson in 1989 when they returned. But he did make a return in 1994 at Slamboree against Terry Funk.
He did, definitely.
Cameo. So and then he did a few shots in ECW as well.
Yeah, he wrestled Shane Douglas for the ECW title, I believe, right, at one point. Yep. And I remember a short stint in the AWA as well. After being let go, and he was actually supposed to return to the Four Horsemen in 1994, but your boy, they ended up putting Paul Roma in that role.
Yeah, they ended up putting him in that role, and then it's crazy. A year later, he was at the Slamboree for that one. So he was at the Slamboree. He went to the wrong Slamboree. He's supposed to be at Slamboree 1993, but he ended up being at Slamboree 1994.
Yeah, back at the day, the old Slamboree used to have. They'd open up the show with Legends matches and a Hall of Fame induction, etc. And it was there were lots of great. Damn, now it's making me think. It was such a great special event. It's making me want to go watch it.
Yeah, Slamboree 1993 was a great inaugural event, and then '94 was real good. You had Sting versus Vader, which fun fact really was supposed to be Vader versus Rick Rude. First time ever, but that didn't happen because Rude got injured in Japan from the same match. Right?
Yeah.
So check out the Slamborees 93, 94. Very good, solid events. Also,
that era,
Arn Anderson and Barry Windham for the NWA Championship.
You cannot go wrong with Barry Windham during that time period. You know what I mean? I'm telling you. The NWA might have been on a downslide at that time period, but Barry Windham was a guy that fought for that championship for so many years. He had classic battles with Flair over that title. And of course, the NWA, and of course, at that time period, the NWA was sort of separating itself from WCW, so it ended up being a completely different product by that point. People thought that it didn't exist for many, many years. It was still around, but it's still around kicking, So anyways, yeah, it still is. I watch it every Tuesdays. Mind you, when we get done here, I'm going to end up turning it on. So let's see. Willow Nightingale defeated Allison Kay. I think that I really like both women. Of course, Allison Kay, former NWA Women's Tag Team champion. She just lost the title a few months ago. I thought that this was sort of a random match that was added to the show last minute within a couple days. Willow Nightingale, a tremendous performer. She's getting really, really good, getting better and better. Yeah, she's going to be, and I say this every week, every time her name comes up, I think that she is going to be a huge star in the world of professional wrestling and possibly AEW. You got to see, man. I think she's great. This is a very, very, very good match. She defeated her. She rolled her up with a, look kind of like a painful roll up there.
Should have a powerbomb.
Yeah.
She a gut-wrench powerbomb for the win and folded her up. And this was a solid match. Great showing for Allison Kay. I know Allison Kay, former Impact Knockouts champion and also former NWA Women's champion.
Of course, we got to the main show. Now, this we're going to end up getting into a whole conversation about.
Absolutely.
All right, this first match. They opened up with the ROH World Title match. Champion Jonathan Gresham taking on Claudio Castagnoli. Got it right. All right. Did not fumble my words. So there you go. I thought it was crazy that they started Ring of Honor starting with the world title match. Okay. Of course, we're going to find out, and we might have, find out this might have something to do why it was first. Jonathan Gresham was, of course, pissed off. I think Jonathan did the job. Claudio walked away with the title. This was a tremendous match. I think Claudio kills it every time he gets out there. He just proved why he is and has been one of the best professional wrestlers in the world for the last 20 years. Literally. Not that Gresham's not. But, of course, there was a backstage altercation between Tony Khan and Jonathan Gresham. Gresham apparently cussed him out. I'm not exactly sure. I don't have the dialogue. I have not seen any printings of the dialogue. But he has asked for his release from Ring of Honor / AEW. He does not want to work there. He does not think that he will fit in there. He does not think, I think that it probably has something to do with his size. Might have something to do with his popularity, maybe. And I think that it might have something to do with Tony Khan just trying to push guys that are very marketable towards the masses. Claudio has been a powerful force in the world of professional wrestling for many years, working for WWE. People love him. People think, he's a great, great professional wrestler. I mean, it's hard to say. Jonathan Gresham is, of course, a fantastic professional wrestler. It's just what's going on here with that situation.
Yeah, they was given 11 minutes. I really didn't have a problem with this being an opening. You already had a big marquee match that was already well built later on, which was the tag team championship match for the ROH tag team championship. Correction, 2 out of 3 falls. So I could imagine starting with that match first and then ending with this championship match. It was the right decision. Business decision. It was right. It being 11 minutes, I kind of disagree. You could have gave more. But Claudio beat him with the Ricola powerbomb. That was the only one he did, and he beat Gresham. Do I agree with Gresham cursing out Tony Khan? Nah, I don't agree with it. It's a work at the end of the day. I mean,
okay,
it's a work. It is what it is, man. I mean, you held the title at a bad time. Obviously, the company was going out of business. We had a pandemic, but he did defend it in other promotions, which was Impact Wrestling down in UK, everything else. And
he AEW.
He defended AEW, defended it at the Supercard of Honor, and won it, and still retained it. It just unfortunate. Is it an ego thing? Maybe not. Don't know. But it wasn't nothing to be ashamed about. I mean, it's business. You still got paid at the end of the day.
That's the other thing about that. It's like a lot of these guys treat it a little seriously. And no offense, I'm not actually a performer or a wrestler. I sit here, I'm a podcaster. I guess you can consider me a journalist, what have you. I mean, I don't know how some, you're a professional wrestler. How's it go? When you're asked to do the job or you're asked to lose a title. Maybe Gresham thought that it wasn't time for him to lose it. It had only been a couple months or something to that effect, What do you think?
I mean, it's understandable. I mean, you felt like you didn't have a title run, but I mean, you could have stayed there longer to get another title run. It takes time, dude. But the best business decision that had to happen was Claudio to take it. Claudio is a known face. You got to push that brand. It's just like when Chris Jericho won the AEW championship. It was a known face. You got to have a known face to be your top champion at first, and then you start pushing the people and make stars. So, do I agree with him cursing out Tony Khan? No. Don't agree with that at all, man. It was unprofessional. then you delete your social medias and your other promotion page because you just done with wrestling. Like it's the wrestling business.
Yeah,
Just come on.
you're gonna have to lay down here and there, time for time. Maybe he wanted to do more as a champion. Maybe he doesn't agree with Tony Khan's way of booking Ring of Honor, and I feel awkward saying this, but also he mentioned some racial issues as well. I'm sure you saw those tweets, and those are the tweets that he automatically deleted.
Did he say that? Or what was the tweets?
Yeah. Oh, he was like, white guy wrestler goes in here, automatically wins title, and then I don't have them in front of me, but it was something similar to that effect. And then, and your opinion on something like that, obviously. I mean, I know they made the rounds and then he deleted them, but obviously somebody screenshot them. Like I said, I don't have them in front of me.
I know. I mean, I don't expect you to, but is there racism in professional wrestling? Absolutely. Um, is this a race issue that would happen for this title match? No, it wasn't. It was a business issue. Like you got to put a known face in that position. Nobody knows Jonathan Gresham. Nobody knows. Everybody knows Claudio.
And the other thing about that is like there's also the size issue. People making jokes. He's 5'4" or 5'2", whatever the hell he is. That does not
he is
make
a really small dude.
he is. The guy's
he's
jacked.
A small dude, but yes, he is jacked and he can wrestle, and there's nothing wrong with that. With his size and with his skill, he probably could beat anybody in the world. But when it comes down to this business, if you lower than that, it really doesn't even matter. They look at you differently. So, I know what it is when you come in this business, man. Is you may put in the hard work, you may get your just due, which he did. He became the ROH champion around a terrible time, but business is business. You trying to push a brand that you just recently brought, that you trying to show to any network that has a star that this is our ROH champion.
Not for nothing, yeah. But and not for nothing, they didn't just put that title. Ring of Honor did not just put their title on just anybody.
Exactly.
They put it on serious wrestlers. They had the Pure title and they had the Ring of Honor title, and they weren't far off because they put them on legitimate professional wrestlers that they thought were, worthy. They didn't just put it on a guy that couldn't. And no offense to Hulk Hogan, the guy had charisma. But he was a champion for another reason. Not that he wasn't worthy, but he was able to put asses in seats.
Absolutely.
But it's it's just that I think that they put those titles on people they thought were fantastic wrestlers, pure wrestlers, straight up wrestlers. Yeah, and that's why.
Go ahead. Yeah, ROH is that's all right. ROH is a different brand of wrestling, and it's treated as a sport like the NWA back in the day. So
correct.
It's nothing wrong with Claudio having the championship. It was a good match, good 11 minutes. Should they have more? Absolutely. After watching and rewatching it again, I mean, you could tell there was some heat there. Jonathan Gresham did not come out with his regular gimmick. He just came out with a t-shirt.
He didn't come out with the mask or the jacket. He came out. He didn't come out looking at like the octopus. And
nah, he didn't come out like that.
And yeah, at first watching it, I didn't even think of it. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until somebody said it, I was like, "Oh shit, you're right." I don't know why I didn't think of it the first time, but it's incredible to think about. So obviously there was some sort of an issue there. You already knew it coming out. A lot of people.
Absolutely.
So from there we had Dalton Castle and the boys, Brandon and Brent Tate. They defeated the Righteous, Vincent, Bateman, and Dutch to win the ROH Trios title. This was an all right matchup. Very exciting. The crowd was completely into this.
Yeah, we got some 6-man tag team championship action, and then we bringing that back to light. And Dalton Castle and the boys became the new 6-man tag champions. That was a great choice Dalton Castle and the boys are very entertaining.
I tell you, since I've been a kid, I've been a sucker for 6-man tag matches because I always thought that they were some. Yeah, I always thought they were something special. I love tag team wrestling, but there's always something about each team having a third, and 6-man tag titles. You never like even if like there is a title, a company has a title, you never see them defended that often. The Ring of Honor might have had them a little bit more on display, or did New Japan have them, or somebody in Japan did? Was it New Japan? At one point,
New Japan had them, and NWA had them.
NWA had him at one point. I think at one point it was it Ricky Morton, Tommy Rich, and the Junkyard Dog might have held them. And then at one point, do you remember they were coming out and they didn't even have titles? They didn't even have belts. They just came out and they were named the champions. Yeah,
they were named the champs.
Yeah, so I don't know what the hell was going on there, but it was really weird. Yeah, I'm just a sucker for 6-man tag matches. I think that there's something special about them. You see them way more often now than you did back, say, in the 80s when we were kids watching professional wrestling. But, there was always something special about a 6-man tag, and I still enjoy them. All right, so from there, we had the Pure title. Wheeler Yuta successfully defended the Pure title against Daniel Garcia. I thought this was a fantastic, fantastic match. Probably one of the best of the night. I'm not going to call it best of the night. You will find out what the best of the night is by the end of this Death Before Dishonor discussion. So I just thought that this was like off the charts. Great match.
Yeah, it was, especially for these two young guys. This match for the Pure Championship, they only did one rope break throughout the whole match, but still, like, it still was a very good match between these two. These two wrestled an hour, probably a few months ago in the Indies, and these two brought the performance on the big stage for Death Before Dishonor, and Wheeler Yuta still the Pure champion.
The crowd was completely hot for this. They were extremely hot for this. Oh my God, the crowd was so much into this. Not to mention, I forgot to mention one of the most important parts of this. 3 former champions that were listed as judges: Josh Woods, Ace Steel. That's a name I have not even thought of in years, quite a few years. And then this guy, Hurricane John Walters. If you remember John Walters, he used to work around these parts quite a bit in the earlier to mid 2000s. I remember him wrestling everywhere in Connecticut for a very, very long time before going to Ring of Honor. And to see him go to Ring of Honor, that was like something so awesome. He was a great wrestler. I thought that this guy, John Walters, was going to be a gigantic star at some point, obviously. I don't think it panned out, on a major WWE level. He made a very good impact in Ring of Honor, but he's a very good wrestler. It was exciting to see him as one of the judges for the Pure title match.
Yeah, it was a little retrospective of ROH. They're going back in their tradition, and that's good.
All right, then let's see. Hang on one second. I just went too far up in my notes. And then we had Roosh defeating Dragon Lee. This, like I said, it really wasn't a bad match on this show. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. It was a fantastic matchup.
Yeah, brother versus brother. This match was very entertaining. We had table bump. Roosh is so good, man. He got an upcoming interim AEW championship match tomorrow night. Dynamite against John Moxley, which I'm looking forward to. But he came out with the win, delivering the Frankensteiner.
Yeah. Yep.
From the apron. So, Roosh has got a streak going on, undefeated streak.
That is correct. Like you said, he's meeting up with Moxley tomorrow night for the interim title. And I'm Rick. Marcel and I will be here Thursday night to discuss AEW Dynamite. What is the name of it? Is that Fight of the Fallen?
Fight for the Fallen, yeah.
Fight for the Fallen. Okay. All right. So there you go. Of course, the Women's Championship. This match I thought was fantastic. This match, and I don't mean to say this in a negative way. This is a fantastic match. I thought it was great. This is 2 of my favorites of all time, believe it or not. Mercedes Martinez defeated Serena Deeb. I thought that this was kind of like the weakest match on the show, even though it was a fantastic match. This is probably one of the lesser matches, I guess, on the show. But it was a very, very, very good match on that.
Yeah, it was a very good women's match. Probably the best women's match that we've seen so far under any Tony Khan run so far. Um, that's what happens when you got two good workers as women going out there doing what they trained to do and what they meant to do. And Serena Deeb is a great talent. Mercedes Martinez, we already know from the Northeast area. We already know how she gets down. So this match was real good. I enjoyed it.
Mercedes, of course, from these parts, yes, she's a legend in this area of Connecticut.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember seeing her earlier 2000s working indie shows around here. It's good to see her on mainstream wrestling television. It's something
Absolutely.
awesome to see. And Serena Deeb is possibly one of the greatest women's technical wrestlers that I've seen in many, many years.
Mhm.
So this was a fantastic matchup. Not to put this match down, but it was not. Uh, I don't want to insult the match. It was a very, very good match.
If this card wasn't top to bottom having good matches, it probably would have been best match of the night. Probably on a regular
Exactly.
Dynamite or something.
Yeah, exactly. From there, we had Samoa Joe defeating Jay Lethal. I know we talked, I think, on when did we talk? Friday? Thursday? I think it was you or me, one of us, expected a title change here. Samoa Joe ended up retaining the championship. He choked his ass out.
Yeah, he did choke his ass out. This was a very good match. Samoa Joe came with his A game, and I enjoyed it. It was a sight to see of the old Samoa Joe, fresh off the time off of making the Twisted Metal uh, movie. So now he's back and he's full force, retaining the television championship.
Yeah, I didn't fully expect it. He came out here wearing his black and red gear. Excuse me. Just came out and he whooped ass. I think that I've always enjoyed Samoa Joe. I've always enjoyed Jay Lethal as well, but I think that there's something special about seeing Samoa Joe in the ring sometimes. Like that guy is just it's there's something special about it. The guy's a legend. You know what I mean? He comes out here and he just kicks ass.
Jay Lethal on top of his game right now too. I mean, he got this Ric Flair last match going on. He's really hot. He cut the promos and hopefully he gets some extra time on the AEW television
Yeah.
or either ROH.
I'm looking forward to that Ric Flair's last match.
Are you?
Maybe not that match, but the show. The show. I'm kind of scared to watch the match. I don't know what I could be sitting there. I could be sitting there watching it, eating popcorn or drinking beer, and then choking my popcorn because Ric Flair died in the ring. Sorry. All right. I think that everybody has the same feeling. Let's be serious.
Everybody has the same feeling. Yeah.
Maybe everybody's not vocal about it, but
everybody got bets going on. Hopefully not.
So, okay. This match, best 2 out of 3 falls. FTR ultimately won against the Briscoes. This match was straight fire. Two of the greatest tag teams in the last 20 years. The Briscoes could literally, I don't think I've ever seen the Briscoes have a bad match. I've seen them wrestle shitty wrestlers. They've had a great match. I've seen them wrestle each other. They've had a great match. FTR, I've seen them wrestle so many great tag teams. They've always put on a great match. The match that they had against each other, a few months ago in the Owen, fantastic match. You put these two damn teams together, they could really, literally do no wrong. This was such a great matchup. Best 2 out of 3 falls. They went, I believe it was 44 minutes or close to 44 minutes for this 2 out of 3 falls match. Great match, I'd have to say.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I just think this is the best match of the night. Literally. Best match of the night. Of course, there's a reason why this was the main event. Literally,
Exactly.
FTR could do no wrong at this point, and I think the Briscoes are right there next to him.
Just like you said, there was a reason why this choice was made, even though they said it was a coin toss. I don't think it was a coin toss. I think it was ultimately made the main event, and it was the right decision. This pay per view probably would have. I don't want to say it would have failed, but it would probably would went a little bit downhill, a little bit, because you going from that all the way down to that ROH championship match. But slow start to this match. Um, the Briscoes took the first fall, and then FTR took the final two. But this match from top to bottom was great. 45 minutes of great storytelling, great action by two of the best teams in the world. And sooner or later, they're going to meet again. I know they're going to meet again. But this was a great closer for a good pay per view for ROH.
It was definitely a great closer. I don't think that this is the end of their feud. They've only wrestled, I guess, 2 times, correct?
Two times only,
Usually,
yes.
yeah. So it's definitely not over. There's going to be something else. I think if we saw them in a cage, that shit would be off the. This would be. I've already said this match was off the charts good. I think in a cage, that shit would destroy this match.
Yeah,
Literally.
this was a war. This was a war
Yeah.
already with 2 or 3 falls. Blood was shed, sweat was all over, and I mean, ref bumps, everything, tables, everything you could name was in it. But FTR proved that they are the best team in the world. They still continue to be the ROH World Tag Team Champions.
I can't wait. It makes me want to watch AEW tomorrow night. I mean, not that I don't watch it every week, but you get what I'm saying. It made me look for this match. Made me look forward to watching AEW tomorrow night. So one of the things about it is, it made me want another Ring of Honor show. Catch my drift.
Yeah, there wasn't no announcement of no TV deal or any next show, so we just gotta sit and wait, and hopefully, we get some type of announcement. But next up, All Out. So you gotta build your own promotion. So it's AEW gotta build their own All Out September 4th.
September 4th. That's only a couple weeks away. Well, it's about a month away. A little bit over a month away. So that's exciting to think about. Will we see Kenny return by then?
That was announced a week ago, so hopefully we'll see him back full in action. We got Brian Danielson come back tomorrow to face Daniel Garcia. So we already got some of the people returning.
I know those two have wrestled before. I think we've talked about it here on this show. I think they've wrestled on Rampage a couple months back, which ended up being a fantastic matchup. So I'm looking forward to that one. It'll be a very, very good match. I don't think that I have the list. Is there? I don't think I have a list for tomorrow's Dynamite as of yet. Let me just check here.
I have it for you.
You have tomorrow the matchup already? Wow, dude,
Yeah,
you're
I got
the game. This is see,
it.
you're making it look bad. I got you.
Nah, I got you. Interim AEW World Championship match. We got John Moxley versus Roosh. Then we have Thunder Rosa. You may have to pronounce his name for me. Mayu Yamasata for the AEW Women's World Championship.
Yamasata.
Am I right, bro?
I think you got the last name right. I believe.
Great. See, I made it.
You got it.
And the FTW Championship, Ricky Starks versus Danhausen.
That's going to be comedy. I will tell you. I love.
Entertaining.
I love my Danhausen. I'm a huge Danhausen fan. He's an amazing character. He's not a bad wrestler. It's just that he goes out there and does the comedy stuff, which I'm not a gigantic fan of. But if you don't pay attention necessarily to certain things, that he's a blast to watch. You need a variety show. Professional wrestling is a variety show.
Absolutely. You can't have a full wrestling show like ROH. You can't.
Yes.
So it's you gotta make everything work for everybody.
Exactly. That's how you draw the people in.
That's how you draw everybody in. The women, children, men, pets.
Yep.
Nah, I'm playing.
Hey, whatever. I've seen dogs before, so
And also we got Brian Danielson returning to the ring facing Daniel Garcia. And
who
then we
said
got
that?
Swerve Strickland versus Tony Nese and Mark Sterling in a handicap match.
That'll
And
be
that's all we
interesting.
have.
All right. So I may talk about that tomorrow night. I know I'm debuting a new solo show tomorrow night. So PWZ
Okay.
Wrestle Talk. It's Wednesday night Wrestle Talk, and then of course me and Marcel will be here Thursday to review the entire show, break it down, and all that fun stuff.
Absolutely.
So let's talk some WWE. We got a lot of WWE news to talk about. The world of WWE has basically been turned upside down for the last month.
Yes.
Of course, we already know about the situation with Vince, the anonymous emails, the women, the hush money. But Friday, of course, we jumped on here for a few minutes, for about a good 20 minutes, and talked that suddenly Vince decided to retire. I think it was the following morning that they found 14 point something million dollars that were unrecorded funds that were distributed somehow to anonymous sources, to anonymous rather people that were not recorded, obviously. So it looks in the board of directors are investigating that. So it looks as if he might have used company money, not confirmed, to hush some of these people.
Yeah, it says WWE, it will restate the results of years 2019, 2020, and 2021 in the first quarter of 2022 to reflect the unrecorded expenses. So we just got to say that basically Vince McMahon didn't retire. He basically resigned. And then it's unfortunate because this guy had a great career. He sat here and brought WWE to where it is today. Not alone. He built stars and did a lot of things.
Hogan, yeah,
Hogan, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Austin,
yeah.
Brock, Roman Reigns, John Cena, so on. But he uh, he messed up, man. He messed up, and it's unfortunate. Will he be in the Hall of Fame? Absolutely. Maybe later on
Oh,
down the road, 2 or 3 years. But then right now, he's gonna have to just hide for now and take his time and just let it flow over. It probably won't flow over for a while, but we also, we got a new regime. We got Stephanie McMahon as the CEO, um, co-CEO with Nick Khan, which is the other CEO, and now we got Triple H as Paul Levesque as the head of creative and head of talent relations, which is a lot for Paul Levesque, even though he had a cardiac arrest last year. So hopefully this is enough for him. But we got our debut of him being in charge last night for Raw.
yeah.
What you thought about it?
Before we get into Raw, I just want to give my opinions or just say a little something and give some opinions. I discovered professional wrestling in 1984. I did not go full blown until about 1988, but I followed it loosely for the first 4 years or so. And I didn't know much about other organizations outside of the WWF prior to, say, 1987. If it hadn't been for Vince McMahon, I would not be sitting here having this conversation with Showtime Marcel Williams right now. I may not be the world's biggest WWE fan today. It does not go to my liking or my particular style that I prefer for professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But the man was very influential and shaped my youth and shaped my love for professional wrestling. So hats off to you, sir. Thank you for the many, many years of enjoyment. I still love professional wrestling, and I still watch WWE. It's just I'm not the world. I prefer watching other brands. It's just the style. You know,
Mhm.
I do love WWE. I do. I'm going to say it flat out. I do watch it. I don't watch it every Monday. I don't watch it every Friday. I don't watch it every Tuesday. If there's an event in town, I not always go, but I will. I will go. It's a lot of fun to WWE has grown to one of those global brands, and I know we said this last week or the week before, like Coca-Cola, Disney, MGM, Universal Studios, all that stuff. Everybody
Mhm.
from around the world knows what WWE is. And I think you, Vince McMahon, you may have made some mistakes. I'm not saying that you're right. Your personal decisions, I'm not saying that they're right or not condoning them, but it is what it is. But on to that, we can go on to another subject now. Paul Levesque made his debut last night as head of creative for WWE. He was named yesterday. I don't think that full episode had Paul's touch to it. I think that it was. I watched it for the most part. I did not watch every single segment.
Mhm.
I have a 6-year-old kid. Sorry, I had to get him to bed, so I missed about a good 30 minutes here or there. I missed the intro. So if you want to talk about that in a second, but for the most part, I have to say that this was a pretty decent episode. Things are not going to change overnight when Paul Levesque is just. People expected last night to just take over to an entirely different style of WWE. It's going to be weeks. It's going to be months. It may even take a year to go in a different direction. I thought that last night was a very good show. Like I said, there was some ridiculousness to it, of course, but hey, that's the sports entertainment world. We watch professional wrestling to lose our minds, to distract us from the day's work, to distract us from life. I enjoyed it for the first time in quite some time, and I'm very optimistic about this change that WWE will be going into with Paul Levesque as head of creative. Uh, and that's pretty much what I got to say about that. Go ahead, Marcel.
Yeah, last night's Raw was it was a Raw. It was solid. It wasn't you can see a few difference.
Mm-hmm.
They kicked off the show with Logan Paul and Miz brawling in the middle of the ring.
Okay.
Um, he still had the camera cuts that Kevin Dunn likes to do, but hopefully that will change because there's a lot of rumors about Kevin Dunn may not be there for long. But
Speaking of which, do you mind if I cut you off? I'm sorry. I did read between today and or yesterday and today. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that
okay.
there has been reports that he is expected to leave. That he's expected to leave, and that I got to tell you, his camera cuts. Who thinks of that shit? That shit makes me dizzy watching those
Yeah,
sudden
you're not
camera.
the only person that complains about it.
It's ridiculous, and it's been going on for quite a few times. If so many people are complaining about it, then why continue? You can continue. Thank you.
Because that's that Kevin Dunn bull squash. But yeah, it was different. And then you kicked off with Roman Reigns and the Bloodline coming out for their promo, and then Theory came out to remind Roman Reigns about him having a Money in a Bank contract. But obviously, few little digs here on Vince where Roman Reigns told Theory that your dad doesn't work here anymore, basically, which was
Yeah.
the best line of the night. And it was just different, man. Then you had Jay Uso smack Theory in back of the head, and then Theory popped Jay Uso with the Money in Bank briefcase. So everybody came out of here looking strong. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't make anybody look stupid. So that was a great plus. And then we kicked off with a different matchup with Drew McIntyre versus Theory, which I thought was a very good match. But we
Yeah.
still had that little Vince type of feel. But I already knew going in with this match going on, I already knew the outcome because there's no way you gonna have Theory lose. There was no way you gonna have Drew McIntyre lose. So basically, they had a DQ to segue to the tag match between Drew McIntyre, Lashley, and Sheamus and Theory.
Yeah. I just don't understand how they do that. I mean, I guess it's in the world of WWE. You can suddenly have a match after there's 10 people that get involved. So,
Yeah.
I did not hate the first. I guess you can consider it a second segment that turned into a tag match. I did not hate it. I thought it was fun. It was enjoyable.
Hmm.
I did have a
The first
question.
hour was great. The first hour was
Yeah,
fine.
I thought it was good. Do you think that uh, Trips is going to have trouble writing, being head of creative for 3 hours, keeping up? I mean, he had a good time doing NXT Black and Gold for 2 hours. Do you think that he could? And it wasn't necessarily terrible until they started doing some weird stuff, but they were trying to whatever. Do you think that he could do 3 hours of creative writing? Do you think that it's going to become something similar to what he was doing with NXT?
Is a real big difference. When he had NXT, he wrote for an hour for the WWE Network, and then when AEW came into business, they went to 2 hours. I felt was a lot for NXT because NXT was real good when it was an hour, and then the takeovers happened, and then that made it a special event. But
Mhm.
now I kind of think it's kind of a little bit stacked with 3 hours. I mean, truthfully, I watched it last night. I knew it was 3 hours, but usually it drags. It was all right. It was a nice little flow. You didn't have people sitting in the ring for half an hour already playing clips, and we didn't have the 24/7 championship shenanigans. That's the only difference I've seen out of it. And they had a very good 6-man tag as the main event. Um, but the Logan Paul segment later on with the Miz maybe should have been scrapped, but they should really scrap Logan Paul being a babyface. That should be scrapped because he's not a babyface.
One of the things before we get back into the show is I had a question sent in. Do you think now that Vince is out, that they're gonna? I mean, obviously, last night's show was no telling of the story, but do you think that they're going to, scrap the whole Austin Theory as the future of the company idea?
Absolutely. He's very good. I like Austin Theory, but he's not ready yet. He's not ready yet. And I kind of think he's not gonna cash. I mean, he's gonna cash in it, but he probably end up losing it. But I could see him being the future, but not right now though. I think that's getting scrapped right now.
So you think that that's going to happen? That they're just not going to do it at all? So
Nah, they're not gonna do it. They're
uh,
just gonna have him cash in and lose it out.
I wasn't necessarily sure. I said, obviously, time will tell. It's really hard to say because we're literally probably 72 hours away from Vince at that time. Excuse me, 72 hours away between Vince retiring and Monday Night Raw. So it was kind of hard to tell. But obviously, Theory took a beating at some point later on in the episode or during
Yes,
this
he
match.
did.
Excuse me. Yeah. So I love Theory. I think he's a fantastic performer. He does. I think, honestly, if you look at the roster that has not been there for a very long time, somebody that's been there, you know, he is. I mean, he's been there quite a while, actually, between NXT, coming up to the main roster, going back to NXT, and now
Mhm.
back on the main roster. I think that he has a very good chance of being that big star for the company. So, um, I think it's just the way they keep having him either, you know, uh, somebody go over him or him just winning by disqualification or losing by disqualification. It seems like they are protecting him, sort of, so that he doesn't look like a jabroni. Um, Go ahead.
No, I mean, you're not gonna expect change overnight. Even
Yes.
with the Theory situation, I mean, you gotta remember Vince resigned. I'm gonna say he resigned. I'm not even gonna say he retired. He resigned. Vince resigned before SummerSlam, so this was a go home episode for SummerSlam. They still got to continue the stories that was going on at the moment. So let's just wait till after SummerSlam. Let's just wait till we get to Survivor Series, to the Rumble, and then we start judging what Triple H been doing. But right now we just in limbo right now, and we just trying to close certain stories up.
Correct. We also had Rey Mysterio's 20th anniversary, actually 20th anniversary in WWE, which I'd have to argue with because don't forget he did leave a while too. So
Yes, he did.
You know,
So
but
did
that's me
Cena.
being an asshole. That's me being an asshole, though. So, but obviously you went back there. There had a bunch of group people excited, and then of course there was the hell's the guy's name? Damian Priest and such. Didn't they?
Yeah, the return of Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, return of Rhea Ripley. They attacked Mysterio, dragged him through the. I'm sorry, they dragged him by one leg through the room. Like it was just. I'm sorry, it was just, it's not funny, but it is at the same time.
It was
Just,
funny. And then Finn Balor said, "You celebrating 20 years, but today's my birthday."
right. So it was quite comical in a way, but at the same time, I'm sitting here like, oh, geez. It was good to see Rhea Ripley back because didn't she supposedly have a brain injury?
She supposedly had her teeth kind of messed up, and then I think she had a heart monitor check on her heart and stuff. But it looks like she's fine. She's back.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing her back in the ring. Either way, as much of a ridiculousness Rey Mysterio's 20th anniversary celebration was, congratulations to Rey Mysterio. I've been watching that guy since about 1994-ish, 95, when Worlds Collide happened. That was my first taste of lucha libre professional wrestling. So God bless you, Ray. You've provided many years, probably close to 30 years of entertainment for me.
Yeah, he has. I remember seeing him at the Great American Bash '96. That was the first time I ever seen the debut of him. And when I seen him, I thought of him as a star already. He was different. A lot of people seen him in ECW, but I seen him at Great American Bash '96 against Dean Malenko. And ever since then, I was a fan of his work, and even transitioned into WWE. He unmasked for a cup of coffee. We will not talk about that, but he did come in 2002 into WWE. He made a big impact on that debut SmackDown and never looked back since then. Former two-time WWE champion, and he broke a lot of. To me, he's like the best luchador to ever step in the ring.
You're not the only one. There's a lot of people that consider him the greatest luchador ever in professional wrestling. He transcended lucha libre into the mainstream. There's a lot of great luchadors that made their name in professional wrestling. Legendary guys like Mil Mascaras and Dos Caras, Blue Demon, El Santo that went on to great fame, but Rey Mysterio went on to even greater fame just through WWE and mainstream television. What you just mentioned him in ECW, and I remember seeing him in ECW. I'm trying to remember who the hell he wrestled. Whether it be Malenko, was the Psychosis correct? Okay, now I remember. Thank you. I do remember him because I used to stay up late and watch those ECW shows at 2 a.m. on the MSG network. So there was that, and I do remember his feud with Nash, where Nash basically lawn darted him into a production truck on WCW Nitro.
Yes, he did. One of the historic moments of WCW.
Absolutely. It's one of those moments that sticks out in professional wrestling history and WCW history, I guess, that people, it's one of those moments that people remember the most out of that era, that feud. And of course, like you said, we're not going to talk about it, but he ended up losing his mask ultimately for a couple years. And there is a tradition, a lot of people don't talk about this, that once you lose that mask, you can never put it back on. So,
yeah, that's why they can't be talked about.
Oh, my. So from there, we went Ray and Dominic defeated Finn and Damian Priest. I thought that this was a fantastic match. It was maybe not fantastic, but it was a very good match. Like I said,
they got chemistry.
Yeah, they do. As it gets older, Dominic is improving. Actually, I'd have to say. Give him some time. He needs about another couple of years. Honestly, still pretty green.
I think he should wear a mask.
Yeah, it's. I have a feeling that he's going to down the road. That something like that's going to happen. Obviously, they've been predicting that he's going to turn on Ray for the last 2 years. So we'll have to see if that actually does happen.
Hey, he already got the Eddie Guerrero mullet, so We
There
see
you
the
go.
signs already.
Wait, you notice that a lot of people are wearing mullets these days?
Yeah, please
That
don't
was
bring them back.
all right, exactly. There's a lot of young kids wearing them. They were huge in the '80s when I was a kid.
Please
Anyways,
don't do it.
please don't do them. It's disgusting, actually. Uh let's see. Oh, nope. Hang on. Of course, we had a Bianca and Becky Lynch segment. Eh,
It was all
what do you
right.
think? Yeah, it's all right. Exactly. We had
Bianca got a little annoying.
she tends to be. Well, no. I mean,
This time she was. I was like, yeah. When Becky popped her in the mouth, I was like, okay, she deserved that one.
wow. All right. I usually think it's Becky that's the annoying one.
Usually, but in this case, I don't know who wrote it, but all I know is she was mega annoying.
Let's see here. We had Alexa Bliss defeating Dewdrop. This match was pure hot garbage.
Dang, that's crazy.
Am I wrong?
You're right.
All right then.
You're right.
Dewdrop is an untapped talent for WWE. She's a big woman. There's nothing wrong with it. She seems to be changed up her gimmick since she's turned heel. She seems. Somebody messaged me yesterday and asked me if she's supposed to be the new Nia Jax. I could see them trying to do something like that with her in a way.
Yeah.
With the new gear. But at the same time, I was like, nah, I don't think so. I think Dewdrop is quite talented in the ring. They just put her in. Well, first off, they give her the name Dewdrop. Okay. And they put her with just a ridiculous gimmick. And then they turn her heel because the ridiculous gimmick is not getting over. That's pretty much what I got to say about that. I don't got much else. This match sucked.
Yeah, you're right. This match wasn't that good.
The fact that I spent that much time talking about it. So we had Impulsive TV.
Can we skip this segment?
Okay, no problem.
All right. Thank you.
It was garbage. Hot garbage.
This segment was pure hot garbage.
The only thing, of course, it ended exactly how we thought it was going to end. Gigantic brawl. Paul insulting.
Paul getting laid out.
Exactly. So they're building up a match for SummerSlam. SummerSlam is, of course, Saturday. Before we get into anything else, SummerSlam is Saturday. You're working a show Saturday. I will be at that show Saturday. I'll be at the show
Coliseum
filming
Pro Wrestling.
Coliseum Pro Wrestling. If you want to learn more about Coliseum Pro Wrestling, we did a whole episode with two people from Coliseum Pro, talking Tommy Saban and Matt DeCourt last night. Go listen to it. We broke down the card. If you're interested in checking it out, it is this Saturday, July 30th, West Haven, Connecticut. All the information is up on our website, pwzpodcast.com. There's a nice article written about it. It's going to be a fantastic show. So I'm assuming that you and I are going to do Tuesday night for SummerSlam, correct? You'd have to say?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to spending my Monday watching it because you got to support your independent wrestling, folks. If there's something on TV, you can always go back and watch it. There's something called a DVR and a lot of these streaming services you can watch after. Support your local independent wrestling. Now that I got my rant out of the way, I've not seen Dolph in quite some time. Not that I've been paying full attention to WWE entirely, but AJ Styles teamed up with Dolph Ziggler. They took on Alpha Academy. This was what it was. I like all four wrestlers, believe it or not. Actually, Dolph was probably my least favorite of the four, to be honest with you.
It was a regular solid tag team match.
Yeah, I love AJ. I like Otis quite a bit. I think Chad Gable is possibly one of WWE's has this thing for making fantastic wrestlers completely underrated. You know what I mean? Not utilizing their, and Chad Gable is that guy. He's a fantastic professional wrestler.
Yeah,
completely underrated. So I'm glad to see that he is getting TV time and that he's not forgotten about. Teaming him with Otis, that's fine. Whatever's going to work. AJ is just that guy. He's that guy. You know what I mean? He goes out there
There's
every time he puts his heart into it, he's going to have a great match.
need a better role on this show, though. Hopefully that changes.
Hey, man, we're only one show in to new creative guys, new creative forces.
Absolutely.
So of course, the main event, six-man tag team, Universal Champion Roman Reigns, and of course the tag team champions, the Usos, took on Matt Riddle and Street Profits. They changed it up. It wasn't just the Street Profits and who did I say? Oh, the Usos.
The Usos.
Yeah, so they added some people.
Yeah, they did. Roman Reigns came back to work and performed, and we had a good 6-man main event that was very entertaining with the bloodline going over.
Of course, it was finished when Riddle went to go for the RKO. Roman caught him, threw him, and then he speared him right as Riddle got up for the 3 count. I thought this was a very, very good match. It was good to see Roman. Haven't seen him in some weeks. He's showing why he is the guy.
Yes, he is. He's showing that why he's a special attraction, and when he comes out, you can tell it's a big deal. So, close out Raw with a bang.
That was a very, very good match. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed this episode of Monday Night Raw. Like I said, it's been a very long time since I could say I did not well, obviously I started at 20 minutes late, but usually within 20 minutes I shut it off because I'm annoyed.
Absolutely.
This time that did not happen. Seeing Theory and Drew, that all that potential right there. Drew is a phenomenal performer. Theory is a phenomenal performer. This was just a really, really good show. But
it was fresh matchups.
Absolutely. I do have some notes. The stock, WWE stock, has gone up as of my note taking, which was yesterday afternoon. So bear with me if it's a little bit off. WWE stock ended Monday, so that was yesterday, at 71.81 per share, which was up 8.44%. I'm sorry, that was today. 8.44%. As to what it closed on Friday, the announcement of McMahon's was made Friday after the stock market had closed. It was the highest point the WWE stock has been since 2019. WWE's, hang on one second. And then, of course, the SmackDown rating. With the show airing just hours after McMahon announced his retirement, there was a huge Friday night ratings boost. I said Friday Night SmackDown averaged 2.256 million viewers on Fox, which is up 8.6% from the previous week. It's the best audience for the show since June 17th, which was the day Vince McMahon appeared on SmackDown after announcing that he was stepping away from WWE Chairman and CEO during WWE Board of Directors misconduct investigation. They drew a 0.62 rating in the 1849 demo, which topped all of television on Friday, which was nearly double any other program of the night. It's also SmackDown's best rating in the demo since June 17th and is the show's second highest rating of the year so far. So, as Eric Bischoff once said, controversy creates cash.
It sure does. And Raw had a great rating last night. Since I think last year they had a good rating. So this news is definitely having people watch.
It's definitely a lot going on. All this news and the optimism of change for WWE. There's a lot coming, folks. I think that there's a lot more coming that people are going to be looking out for. So keep an eye on the product. I'm optimistic that the product is going to improve. What do you think, Marcel?
It definitely is, and now the playing field is kind of even because now you got people that mainly went to AEW because of Vince still being there. So now you got Triple H in charge. Just never know. They may want to come back. They may see a light at the tunnel for WWE and make that move back. So it's a great time to be a wrestling fan right now.
We've said that every week. Oh, Jesus Christ. We've said that every we've said that every week. You know, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan because there's so much greatness going on. And right now, the last week, all this news going on that things are changing. They're going forward. The
Yeah,
landscape
we don't
of
have to worry about
WWE.
Vince McMahon coming back. So he's done. There's no phone calls to change anything. Nothing.
Well, I've also read that he will be a secret consultant, that they can call him at any time and ask his opinion, and ask certain things about what to do here and there. As for, but I'm not sure how much they're going to. I think that
Exactly.
I think Triple H is more than capable of changing that. You know, handling the product himself.
Nah, he's capable of doing it. He did NXT by himself. He brought it to Barclays Center, sold out the Barclays Center. He brought it to UK. He has a lot of experience, so he should be good.
I think that guy loves professional wrestling. He has got a great mind for professional wrestling. He works for the largest wrestling company in the world. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm optimistic, thinking that there's going to be a lot of positivity. And I guess they held a meeting, uh, before Raw last night, which ended up going very well, and morale was very well throughout the meeting. And I guess that a lot of people, you can come to me if you have an issue type meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're not going to have to be waiting hours. If that's in reference to, like, they would have to wait for Vince hours before the show to get into him, and you were lucky to get in if you had to have some sort of a meeting with him.
Absolutely. They say TV day is always the worst day to get in contact with him.
Yeah. Yep. Marcel, do you have anything else you would like to let out before we get out of here?
No, that is it. Be sure to follow all our social medias, which is right down here next to our name. And tune in Thursday for me and Rick reviewing AEW Dynamite Fight for the Fallen, and join Rick tomorrow for Wrestle Talk.
Don't forget to check. Oh, go ahead.
No, good.
Yep. All
Special
right. Go.
edition Wrestle Talk for PWZ.
That's correct. Don't forget to check out our new website called pwzpodcast.com. All the great news following up any of these stories that we talk about. We break them there first, and of course, there's tons and tons of local independent news from around the Northeast. If you'd like to get in touch, you can contact me at rick@pwzpodcast.com or prowrestlezone@gmail.com. And send in any news tidbits, anything else you want to send in. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Have a great night, everybody.